Assignment time. Alright, to get started with the assignment, all you do is have to clean out everything that you have in the scene. So clean out all spheres that you don't need, delete all keyframes that you don't want, and you have one sphere left over. It doesn't matter what you call this. Let's call it player maybe, and we're going to play a little game. So here's that plane, it's on. Notice also I have a hemi light. I put a hemi light in here. To do that, all you do is have to go add lamp hemi. Okay. And then here, make sure this is on textured mode. With everything active, you should be okay. If you have problems, please revert back to 0100 where I set up the scene with the actual plane in there, if you have a hard time with it. If you hit 7 on the number pad, you'll have this. The name of the game is to get this player all the way around this curve in 1000 frames. Okay, that means here I would have a start of 1 and end of 1000. The hardest thing about this is getting the student to understand that they don't have to keyframe it to death. I'll give you an example, a very small example, because I really want you to learn this lesson on your own. Well, if I went to insert a keyframe here, again I could hit this or I on the keyboard, location, and let's say in 40 frames. And this is the hardest thing for students, is like the fact that there's 1000 frames out here and they have to get the player over to 1000 frames. Remember, you can move all these after the fact. They're all movable. In this case, we're really looking at X and Y, right? There's no such thing as Z here. So we can get Z out of the equation. If I move it here in such and such frames and hit I and go to location, from there to there, I would say, what kind of curve is that? Well, I would probably say that curve is very, very... Which one? Huh? Is it linear? Is it constant? Or is it Bezier? I would say maybe it's linear, right? So from here to here, it's a very linear path. It should be treated as a linear path. Let's go to the next one. In this case, I'll move the ball here on the change of the curve. Not here, but here at the peak. And let's go in and hit I in location. Remember, these are curves. So what happens here is it will flow around. If it does not, what can we do? Can we change it? Could we add something to it? Could we maybe set here an I? Okay, let's look at it now. Okay, not very smooth though. See how it drifts off? Now, which one would this be? Would it be Bezier, linear, or constant? Also, if you have so many keyframes in here, isn't it going to get a little odd? Let's try it. Okay, it starts flying off the handle right about here. Because of why? Because maybe that this is just a little bit too high. Okay, if I bring it down like that, it's going to fly off and then go. So there is all kinds of lessons to be learned here, kids. I can't tell you enough about how much fun this assignment really is. So you're going to be adjusting curves all day long and figuring out which ones do what. Is it Y is it moving in, or is it X that it's having a hard time in? The trick here is let things like nature happen. Watch this. I'm just going to hit A, X, delete keyframes. What if I did this? Let's hit I. Oops. Yeah, let's first get it to 1000 or 0. There we go. Then hit I. Then in 40 frames, we move it this way. Hit I. Now let's go over here to another maybe 40 frames. Let's hit I. So what I would do is maybe do it as a Bezier at first, and then go in and decide which ones are going to be linear. Don't do it as you go. Let nature take its course. When you get to straight lines like this, you know you're going to have to change it. But when you're going to straight to curve, you could probably get away with having a type of a Bezier there. Alright, so there's all kinds of lessons to be learned here. I'm not going to spoil any more. 1000 frames, player goes from A to B. That's simple. Oh, when it gets to the round sphere, he goes around once and then goes around. So make sure he goes around this, all the way around 360 degrees, and then back, and then into the curve again. So that's why that circle exists. Make sure he goes around it. Alright, that's your assignment. Enjoy.